What's up, selectors? It's Select Screen here. Thank you for joining me on the Select Screen podcast. If you would, go over to linktr.ee/select screen, follow us, and subscribe over there. I'm ready. You're ready. Let's go. What's up, selectors? It's Select Screen in the building here, man. Ready to talk about the Eternals with you. Spoilers. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, know that this is a spoiler review. It's titled Eternals, good movie, told bad. It's our spoiler review. Spoilers. That's all I can say. There will be, guess what, guys? There's going to be spoilers in this. So I can't say it any more than to say there's going to be spoilers. All right? Shout out to my man RL. Hopefully he comes through. We're going to open up our Discord to talk about this movie. If you're watching this live on YouTube, we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Cash App, man, at linktr.ee/select screen. Again, also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you're listening, this will go up as a podcast as well. All right. So I'll try to be as descriptive as I possibly can. Hopefully everything sounds amazing and great for you. Hopefully you've had a great day. Enjoying your time, and your boy's been on vacation a little bit, so we're back into this thing, man. We're back into it, and I'm super excited about it. So we're gonna have some fun today. Again, man, before we even do that, before I even take you to the intro, check this out, man. I want you to head over to the link tree, like I said, hit merch store, and there it is. Boom, there's the merch. Get you a hoodie, stay warm. $29, man. You can get a I'm a Selector shirt, long sleeve, short sleeve, and ladies, we've got the tanks still if you want one of those. So I had to plug that. Go check those out. Go grab one and send me one. You know, if you get one, not, like, you don't gotta buy me one, but if you if you get it, you like it, send me a picture of it. We'll put it up on our Instagram. Sound good? All right. So with that being said, man, I'm ready to go. Let's talk about this movie. I'm ready. You're ready. I know you're ready. Let's go. Yeah, man. Let's talk about Eternals. Woo. All right, where do I start with this movie? Let's start with as what we normally do is we talk about the positives or the negatives first, and then I usually give an overall thought process on this thing, right? And so overall, if I had to put this movie into a nutshell, it could have been a really good movie. I wouldn't say it would have been a great movie, but I think this could have been a good movie. But then it's held down by being told very poorly. I think it would have been in the vein of maybe the first Thor movie. You know, in the vein of, I don't know, Doctor Strange for me. It would have been in that area. Captain Marvel. You know, those movies were fine. They were okay. It would have been, it's good, you know, but it's told so bad. It's told so bad. Mario's in here. My man Clue in the building says, you're only here for a brief minute watching Bobby Fish versus Davey Richards in MLW. Okay, that's what's up. What's up. So that's it. That's my take in a nutshell. Mario is good. Could have been a good movie. I wouldn't put it up there with Iron Man. I wouldn't have put it up there with Captain America, the Winter Soldier at all. But it really just flounders. This movie just flounders at times, if that's a word. So let's talk about why. Let's talk about the good first, since I started out kind of negative. Let's talk about the good things in this movie. First of all, I felt like the movie overall was acted well. The acting in this movie is very, very good, right? The actors come off believable. And that's going to lead me to a negative in a minute, but the acting wasn't corny and cheesy. The actors showed up. They did their jobs very, very well. So I want to say that first and foremost. I thought the costume design and the visuals of the movie also were really, really great. You know, again, we're seeing Icarus, Ajax, and gosh, what is the main character's name? It's one of my problems. Celia? I don't know. You see where I'm going with this? You see where I'm going with this already? But the acting was done well. Mario said, between Captain Marvel and Doctor Strange, where do you fit in from good to bad? I thought Doctor Strange was fine. It should have been in phase 1, right? So it was fine. I wanted, again, watching the Spider-Man cartoon, that's my basis for everything. The Spider-Man, the animated series, Dormammu and Mordo were done so well. At least that was my first exposure to them. And so I wanted more from them, and I wanted more from Strange. And so I think we're getting there. I think it's just one of those things that, like, you got to get through that first movie with Doctor Strange. Captain Marvel, I don't think was the same issue. Captain Marvel was kind of the opposite of Eternals. I liked where the story was going, but I felt the acting from Captain Marvel herself was really, really bad. So I ended up giving that like a C, because Brie Larson just didn't do well, and then she got another chance. You know what I mean? She got another chance, and it wasn't good either. But with that being said, we had Nick Fury, we had Coulson. There were a lot of redeeming things in that movie. You see what I'm saying? So between the two, and I gotta ban somebody on YouTube, I'm sorry. Between the two, I've probably seen them both the same amount of times. Maybe twice, maybe 3 times. And I like where they were going with Mordo. So I would probably say I like Doctor Strange better. But like I said, this movie, staying on topic a little bit, Eternals is worse than both of them. It's worse than both of them. It really is. Sorry, guys. Let me go in here and ban hide user on this channel. Report them. Sorry about this, guys. Yeah, man, we need some mods, man. Matter of fact, Mario, you and I should talk about that. We should talk about that. All this stuff is getting reported. All right, so moving on. Anything else that I liked about this movie? The end credit scene. I really liked the end credit scene. I thought, again with spoilers, but I really liked what Black Knight is going to be. I also like the Blade cameo. I wish they would have shown him. And that kind of leads me to my negatives. There's way too much stuff going on in this movie. And it's going to be an issue for Marvel if they continue to go down this route. It's going to be an issue, and I'm really nervous about the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now. I'm really nervous about the MCU because the Infinity Saga there was an end game. But we didn't know that in phase 1, right? Until Avengers. But we were establishing rules. We were going somewhere. And there wasn't anything to mess up. And what I mean by that is there wasn't anything to kind of walk on, if that makes sense. And that's what Eternals does. There are just egregious things that happen in this movie that really, really scare me. And really Phase 4 in general. I've been very vocal about saying that I really, really enjoyed, of all the movies that have come out in Phase 4, I loved Shang-Chi, right? But the issue right now is, where is the Marvel Cinematic Universe going? We're all over the place all of a sudden. And that's what I didn't like about DC's films. The DCEU is all over the place. There's no trajectory, right? We know that eventually we're getting Fantastic Four. We know eventually we're going to get X-Men. But there's no trajectory. And it doesn't have to be a thing where there's a big bad. It has to, like, there doesn't have to be this looming, like Kang the Conqueror's looming, and we're waiting for them, right, to fight them. That doesn't have to happen. But these movies need to be connected in a way that the movies are telling a narrative by themselves, and then eventually it's telling a broader narrative. And all of those movies, including Shang-Chi, there's no, and the Disney Plus stuff, there is no thread that's going through all of them. Mario says, Clue. But we can confirm that Arrows and Black Knight are both in the new Avengers soon, while they're building up Thunderbolts, Dark Avengers, and Young Avengers. It seems that way, but we have no idea, right? We don't know what's the lady with the long name? What is she doing? Right? So here's all of the open threads right now in the MCU. And this is why I'm a little annoyed with the MCU right now. We have whatever that lady's trying to build with discount Captain America, right? She got discount Black Widow. They're supposed to be going after Hawkeye. All of that's maybe going to be resolved a little bit in the Hawkeye series coming out in 2 weeks. So there's that thread. We have no idea what Nick Fury's still doing in space. Right? We have no idea what the Skrulls are doing. What's the deal with the Skrulls? We know Blade is coming. So, let me get to Blade. But that's five huge questions that we have no idea what's going on. Shang-Chi opened another one. At the end of that, the rings are calling out to someone. I thought it was an Eternal, right? Nothing. We don't know. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of unfinished threads, and we haven't got Fantastic Four yet. We haven't got X-Men yet. And that worries me, because that's what DC does. They drag it on too long, and then you end up having to have a Snyder cut just to fix things. And you're not resolving things. The biggest of all is there is a multiverse. Does Marvel know that they opened up the multiverse? Because none of these movies, not a single movie, has referenced what has happened in Loki. And it's crazy to me. My kids are coming in. It's crazy to me because it seems as if WandaVision and Loki really work well together. Now, Falcon and the Winter Soldier didn't, and that's okay, because maybe they were kind of happening at the same time. But again, we're getting into this area of TV's not acknowledging movies and stuff like that, and that's what killed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's what killed it. There's just too much. There's too much going on. Sorry, my kids are like knocking at the door. Pause for just a second. All right. So, lots of threads there, guys. Sorry for the quick interruption. Clue says, Sword is the new Shield. Shang-Chi, Ant-Man and the Wasp, War Machine, Wanda, and Vision are the West Coast Avengers. Right, but we have nothing to show for that yet. They're all there. All the pieces are there, right? It's like if you're playing chess and all the pieces are on the board, but they're not in the right position. That's the best way I can describe it, is it just feels like there's all this stuff going on, and it's not cohesive. There's maximum potential. There's great potential to do this stuff, but we have no clear direction. If this was Nick Fury and Sword saying, all right, look, the Avengers are basically disassembled, and here's the thing, maybe all of this gets maybe all of this gets resolved in Spider-Man. I don't know, but somehow I feel like Spider-Man's got enough to handle. And let's not forget, Venom now is out there too. There's just so much stuff going on that we haven't even talked about what happens in the Eternals, right? So let's get into that. Here's the thing with Eternals. My biggest problem with Eternals, and why I say it was a good movie told bad, and my wife put it this way: you get drawn into the movie, and you're with it for a minute, and then they do something that just totally pulls you out of the movie, and you're like, wait a minute, what? And that literally like breaks the third wall, and it really, really messes stuff up. Here's a perfect example. The movie starts out talking about, the Celestials, they made the Eternals, blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine, good. But there comes a point in time in the story, and again, spoiler, guys, but there comes a point in time in the story where literally the Celestials tell them, you guys don't matter. So as a viewer, I'm like, why am I watching this? What does this have to do with anything? Another big missed opportunity is the Eternals, Celestials, Deviants, all of these things are being established, but they're not being established by their genes. And that's a big deal. From the little bit of knowledge I have of these guys, this eventually could lead to the X-Men, right? They just totally missed the ball by not connecting them that way. So when they're asked, why didn't you guys help stop Thanos? It's like, we were told not to. Okay, all right. But at least in the comic books, Thanos he has the deviant gene. You see where I'm going with this? So technically he's a deviant. Especially because, again, spoilers, you introduce his brother at the end and he doesn't look like Thanos. So obviously there was something wrong with Thanos. He was a deviant. There's no other way to explain it. You see what I'm saying? It kind of all falls in on itself at a certain point in time. Another great example is the story is told, again, so out of order. We're in the past, we're in Athens, or we're in ancient Egypt, and that's fine. Then we get brought to modern day, that's fine. But then we spend like 20 minutes there. It's not a flashback. It's like we spend 20 minutes there, and then we go back and we spend 20 more minutes in a forest somewhere. You know what I mean? It just jumps all the way around. And Clue put it perfectly. It would all make sense if they went by the book. That's it. And that's what's so surprising about this movie to me is Marvel has done a great job at riffing on the characters that they have, making it new and fresh, but still maintaining the core of the characters. And I think, I don't know the Eternals as well as I know a Spider-Man or an Iron Man, but they didn't get the essence of, maybe they got the essence of the characters. Icarus flies too close to the sun, all of that stuff. But they didn't get what it means to be an Eternal and what it means to be a deviant. Deviants in this movie are literally just animals. They're horrifying, mutating animals. And you could say, okay, that's how they're going to lead into the X-Men. The X-Men are, they're mutants, right? They're mutating. But the way they do it, they don't do it naturally. The bad guy, who's another issue, what's his name? Crow. He, suction cups powers out of an Eternal. He has a whole 7 lines in the movie. I'm going, what is going on here? It just doesn't feel like Marvel. That's the crazy thing about it, is it doesn't feel like Marvel. My next issue with this movie is the casting. I just said one of the positives is they casted, or the actors are acting very well, right? But here's the issue. They don't use the actors. Again, I can't, this is my last spoiler warning. But I honestly, I didn't know, Cersei is her name. It just hit me. I didn't know Cersei. I didn't know who Icarus, the guy who plays Icarus, was. I did know the guy who plays Black Knight just because a little bit of Game of Thrones knowledge. But Salma Hayek and Angelina Jolie are the big names in this movie. And they have probably the smallest roles. It really makes no sense. Salma Hayek came out and said she signed on for more movies. That's another issue, because when we find out that the Eternals are basically just robots, all these characters, their deaths don't mean anything, because they can literally just come back and say, oh, I don't have the memories of the other one, but I look exactly the same. You see what I'm saying? There's no value. There's no value on these characters at all. Clue says, it's like Dragon Ball Evolution. You're interested in... Evolution. Have I seen... I haven't seen Super. Okay. You're interested in young Goku, but the whole movie was like a train wreck by horrible plots and making Demon King Piccolo look off. Exactly. Yes. Evolution was the movie. That's right. That's a perfect example. There's potential. There was potential in this movie. Now, I'm really going to blow your minds when I say this. And make sure to clip this. This is really going to blow your minds. Loki makes the movie irrelevant. Loki makes the whole movie irrelevant. Think about this, guys. The Deviants made the Eternals, made the humans, and they planted the seed of another Eternal in Earth, right? All of that is happening in one dimension. Loki, or one universe. Loki has established that there's multiple universes. There's a multiverse. So everything that happens in this universe because of these Celestials probably doesn't matter. And the reason that I say that is this. The same stories can be happening in different universes. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, our MCU universe does matter, but the Celestials aren't big, bad, and scary because there's something bigger, badder, and scarier. We know Kang the Conqueror is coming. We know that the Infinity Stones do not work outside of the universe, and we saw that in What If. So what the Celestials are doing, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, the real plot, if I could piece something together from Phase 4, has to do with Kang the Conqueror, the multiverse. That's why people are more excited about Spider-Man than they were Eternals, because it has to do with things that are connected. This movie really, one of the more annoying things about the movie is that they reference the MCU in such a plain way. So they say, oh yeah, I could have been the next leader of the Avengers now that Cap's gone. Okay. Or let me smash this table. Oh, it wasn't made out of vibranium? That's not how the MCU connects things. They connect things more like the end credit scene. And we're going to get to this because this is another issue, is the whole Black Knight stuff is pretty cool. We got confirmation that Mahershala, I think I'm saying his name, as Blade is at the end of this, but we only get his voice. And now we've opened up the world to vampires. So the power scale is all over the place, because now we have Bucky and the new Captain America on the low end, Ant-Man, Hawkeye, all of these characters, right? Glorified humans, right? Then we have Thor, which they seem to somehow crap on Thor. Oh yeah, Thor used to follow me around. Show me that. You know what I mean? Don't just tell me, oh yeah, Thor used to follow me around. What? So the Asgardians, they got pushed down because the Eternals are above them, but then the Celestials are above them. But then what happened was Loki is above all of that. You see what I'm saying? So now we've just caused this power vacuum. And we've kind of come to the conclusion that maybe Thanos was right. It was like, man, just wipe half the universe. Some of this stuff, it just devalues things more than it puts value on things. And that's really the issue with where they're going. I really hope, I know they haven't announced a sequel. I hope we don't. I hope that I gotta say this. I'm rubbing my eyes for you guys listening, and my head, because this is the most annoying thing about everything. Everything's connected, right? When does this movie happen? The modern day. When does it happen? Because at the end of the movie, a giant robot comes out of the earth. Okay? All right. We're all thinking, okay, this is going to lead to Galactus, right? A giant robot. Okay. So where is Bucky? Where is Cap? Sam should be there. Again, Fury should be like, yo, there's a giant hand coming out of the ground. You know what I mean? Because they were all there for Mysterio. At least there was an explanation for them not being there. You know what I mean? Even though Fury was a Skrull and all of that stuff in in Spider-Man with Mysterio is what I was trying to say. In this movie, there's a giant robot, and not only does the giant robot come from underneath the ground, there's another one that comes and steals people off Earth. You think no one else saw that? Doctor Strange wasn't like, yo! It just doesn't make sense, guys. I don't know how else to say it. Like I said, no sequel, just the new Black Widow announced. And hopefully we get... So, I'm not going to be able to go live because I got to work this Friday. But Disney Plus Day is on Friday. I probably should put a bow on this. But, man, hopefully we get some answers on Friday. I doubt it. I really don't think Hawkeye's going to reference any of this stuff. But my hope is that we get away from this Eternals celestial thing. I know they've talked about they're going to do the ground level heroes and then this outer space thing. Let that outer space thing be more of what's going on with Loki than it is Eternals. Figure out how to bring Salma Hayek back. Why Angelina Jolie had 7 lines in the movie, don't understand. And then, and again, I understand it's the comics, but these characters are not household names. Neither were the Guardians of the Galaxy, right? But you made us care about those characters. And their names weren't crazy. I don't know how else to put it. I know Icarus because I play God of War. I know Ajax because, again, that was Salma Hayek's character. And I know Athena because she told us all at the end of the movie, there's no A in Athena. Or, there's no A in Athena. I went the whole movie thinking that she was Athena. No idea. It's mind-boggling. So for me, let's get to the grade. Guys, this movie, I know I said a lot of bad things about it. I still think costume design, visually the fights, it doesn't warrant an F like Batman v Superman. This movie's a D. It's a D movie. This is a movie you should wait to see one time on Disney Plus. And that's it. So that's my take, guys. Mario says trailer for Spider-Man on the Avengers DLC tomorrow on IGN. Yes, we'll definitely be talking about that. We'll be playing it. We'll definitely be playing that. I'm excited to see that. It probably won't be a live reaction. I'll probably just do a quick video. I know Elmo will be on tomorrow. Guys, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Really helps us out so much. Shout out to Clue for coming through. I know we're going to do Discord tonight, but I'm just so fired up about this movie. So check us out there. Definitely hit up the merch, like we said. Link tr.ee/select screen. Again, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Cash App. Man, Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts. This was a lot of fun to talk about. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it too. Do one thing for me. Be kind to one another, even when you're talking about the Eternals. Remember to choose your destiny. My name is Select Screen, and I'm out.